Hello and welcome back to the Really Woke Show with myself, Really Woke Roxanne, and the awesome Jimmy, my brilliant co-host, sat here right beside me. We are joined by the awesome Leftwing, John Kong. Thank you so much for joining us, my darling.
All good. Thanks for inviting me.
How you doing? You all right, mate?
Yeah, good, man. You?
Nice to see you. Yeah, very good. Very good. We just wanted to see how you're finding everything at the moment and how it's affecting you, basically.
Yeah, this year's kind of been the year that's kind of happened, but not happened. A lot of people started this year by going 2020 is going to be my year. This is going to be the year that I'm going to go here. I'm going to go there. How have you found 2020 so far?
I mean, the last 6 months has just been like an absolute roller coaster. There's been some real lows, and obviously, I've managed to turn it around a bit and have some highs. But I mean, it started out. Obviously, the virus was coming about in February, and there was whispers of it coming through the club scene, and obviously being in live music, everyone was concerned. Within a month, all the clubs had shut down. I mean, and for me, I've been like a professional musician for 7 years and like been relying on live music money. So we're literally within, a week, like we've gone from having a whole summer booked out with shows to nothing. So essentially no money to live off, no security and no end in sight. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough in the beginning. I don't actually watch the news. I've never been a person that watched the news, but in the beginning I was watching the news because it was like, it was like this thing. It's like, is this the end of the world? So I started watching the news, which I don't do, and there's a reason why. But then, a few weeks in, kept watching it, and then they said, right, we're in lockdown. And like my emotions was just so low. Like I was full of fear. Every day I'd wake up, I'd check how many cases there are, blah, 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 blah. And then I just felt my whole kind of life just going down, down, down. And I just made a decision to stop watching the news, like stop listening to it, and kind of turn my life around. And I started to explore avenues where I could make a bit of money and try to, get some stability for my family. So yeah, it's been crazy, and that's just initially, the first month of it. There's so much has gone on since then. It's just unreal at the moment.
So yeah, you found like a bit of a turnaround happening. I think this is something that we can all resonate with. I think the year started out one way, and by the time you're at the end of March, start of April, we were all having to make decisions about our life. For the viewers that are watching, John, can you give everyone a bit of a background about who you are and what kind of things that people may have heard you from? Because I personally know who you are. I know this guy here knows who you are as well. We know the kind of bits and pieces you're doing, but can you shine a light on all the stuff that you're involved with, please, sweetheart?
Yeah, cool. So yeah, my name's John Kong, and I've been a professional musician now for 7 years. I work as I have an artist project called Leftwing Cody, which has been my main kind of focus. We're signed to a major label at the moment. I also have been doing like music production teaching. I do so I have students and classes, so I teach music production too, and I also do mixing and mastering. So my foot is firmly in the music industry in lots of different areas, being a professional and a tutor and teacher as well.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What would you say you've been able to do personally within the projects you've been doing since the lockdown started in March right up to now? What have you been able to do to diversify what you were already doing, but do it in a way that's keeping you on the right side of the law?
Yeah, I bet you've had to change the way you've sort of tried to make money. Really tried to do the best way. Do it the best way you can. Do more teaching and stuff online, probably.
So yeah, 100%. Like I said, like all my money I was reliant on was live gig money. So when this happened, essentially, I didn't want to make music at all. Like I tried to make music the first 2 weeks, and I wasn't in a headspace. Like I said, I was watching the news, and I was just in a bad way. But yeah, I turned it around, and I just fought on my feet. I've taught before. at an academy. So I decided to put it out there that, you know, I'm going to do online classes to students, up and comers, you know, people who are established and stuff like that. So I've managed to build up different courses which I'm teaching like my actual workflow, which, you know, no one actually gets from an artist, how to actually make music like them. So I've been teaching that. I've also gone into the more engineering side of it. So you get artists and labels that need production work to their music. So for instance, they might approach me to finish a track for one of their artists, or I produce a track for someone else, rather than always making music for my own project. It's more been like, I'm kind of like I'm hired out now to, you know, students and labels and other artists. So I mean, I'm fortunate in that way, because before this, I had done like 2 years of teaching anyway. So I was in the flow of that and I was confident. And I'm like quite a diverse producer. So I was able to, you know, do lots of different styles. But a lot of my colleagues, they can't do that, you know. They're completely reliant on just the live touring, and they don't really want to show people what they're doing. And really, for me, I'm fortunate that it's been okay, but a lot of my colleagues are in real big trouble right now, because, you know, there's just no end in sight for them. They have no options, you know. It's just literally, this is what's happened, you guys are just, you know, left, which is a real shame. I mean, and that's kind of why I'm here, to kind of shine a light on, you know, what the situation is for us artists and, you know, people in the arts industry.
That's perfect that you brought us to that point, because that's really what we wanted to shine a light on with you this evening. There is a lot of people saying that the scene is now dead, that there's nothing that can be done to revive it. There's nothing that can be done to save it. There are initiatives, as we've mentioned before, that have started to try and change people's perception on that, and said that no, the scene can be saved. You can transition into a new scene now. There's lots of things that can be done, but if you can assist us on that, because a lot of people are feeling down, they're feeling like there is, you know, it's destitute, there's a brick wall in front of them and they can't get past it. There's a lot of young and up and coming people that have lost the momentum to, you know, try and make music. How do you feel people have engaged with you as far as diversifying and moving forward?
I mean, it, like, for instance, the first 3 months of the lockdown, I felt that there was like still a lot of passion in it. You know, I had a lot of people approaching me. A lot of my friends and colleagues were still making music, and everyone kind of had the mindset, you know, this will just be the summer, and, you know, it will be a couple months and we'll be back in business. But as it's gone on, like, you can feel like the desperation building now, like talking to my colleagues. You know, even like for me, the amount of work that's starting to come in now is dramatically slowing down. And that's obviously the effect due to there's no end in sight with the clubs. I mean, it's a tough situation because, you know, we have nowhere to go. We have not really like a union of like one person kind of speaking for us and trying to get the scene moving. We've got like different groups, which are great, coming together. I know there's different you know, people that are attending the talks in London and stuff like that, and it's great that we're starting to bring light on the situation. But really, I feel no one really kind of cares about it, because, you know, they see it as a luxury. You know, music, okay, it's not an essential thing, but you've got to think how many people it's affecting. For instance, the music industry brings in £5 billion a year. It's the fifth or sixth largest industry in England, but we've just been left with no funding. You know, we've just been told, go retrain. And it's just like, I mean, that was just an absolute uproar when we heard that. You got to
retrain.
Yeah.
In what sense?
So, you know, they put out this this campaign the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but there was a picture of a ballerina.
I saw that.
Yeah,
the small ballerina.
And it said Fatima used to be a ballerina or whatever, but she doesn't know her next career is in cyber. And it's kind of just saying to all the arts people, like, you need to retrain. You have no industry left. Like, it was a real like kind of dig to us, you know, and that's kind of was a real like they've really stoked the fires in a lot of people because of that.
Yeah, and the mental health situation. I know
God.
when I'm feeling down, I listen to music. It makes me feel better. But when you're telling people they openly cannot dance, they cannot listen to music, they cannot do what they want to do, it's literally it's an attack on mental health and a lot of other things,
I think
which
it's
we
also
won't
an
go
attack
into.
on your civil liberties as well.
Yeah.
To tell people that it's illegal to sing happy birthday in somewhere or get up somewhere and have a little boogie. I think it's one thing to be told to socially distance. It's one thing to be told to queue up in an orderly fashion. But we're at the point now where it's going to become illegal to listen to music in a public place or sing in a public place.
And even the other day, I was out with my son, and they were like, "Your son needs to sit down." I said, "He's smaller than someone's sitting down anyway."
Yeah.
I said, so if you're standing up, it doesn't get you.
It is. I mean,
you know what I mean? It's great. Some of the rules are just ridiculous.
It is hard.
Yeah.
Some of the rules are just crazy.
When you've got toddlers, as my friends have as well, when you've got toddlers, it's very difficult to tell a child of 2 years old that you must literally
of course you can't
and not move. This is something we wanted to bring up as well, as all three of us are parents. How have you found negating certain situations as parenting your children are concerned, your child? How have you found that?
Yeah, so I mean, in the beginning, like I say, it was just like, right, stay in, that's it, batten down the hatches, we're not going out. But it got to the point, it was just three of us stuck in a house, it's getting too much. And from when like they said you can go out, I know a lot of people wasn't going out, and me and my missus and my daughter was like, boom, we went out the first weekend we could. We went to the zoo, and it was a bit like kind of like frustrating because she's going around touching everything. There's no way you can control it. So whether or not there is a virus out there, there's no way you can stop a child from getting. But we ended up being in the mindset of like, we've just got to live our life now and just try and be as normal as possible, and just try to be as safe as possible, but still got to go out, still got to do things. We can't just be cooped up in the house, because it's like we had like about 50 rows, literally tearing each other's heads off because you're just stuck in each other's pockets.
That's it. We've seen the physical abuse, mental abuse within the household rise across the country. I'm not saying anyone's house to do with us, but there is a major rise, and you can see why. You can see why, because people like we say that all our luxuries have been taken away. We can't play music. We can't associate with people. We've been told we can't train in some parts of the country. We can't do the stuff what's good for our mental health, which isn't good for our mental health, is sitting in isolated on your own.
I think this is a big thing though, like, because music is such a release, from, I mean, that's what I used to go to music. It was just, the weekend. I'm not this worker anymore, I'm not this 9-to-5er. The weekend comes and you're just out there, you're with like-minded people, and that's been taken away from us. And I think like it's the government don't understand how big the culture is, how much we need music. It's like, driving around in a car, not having music, and to not be able to, like, I went out to a club. I've been to a club and it was this socially distant things, and there was all tables separated, and it was just horrible to say, but it was just dead. Like, everyone's there. You can't actually even dance. If you dance at your table, they come over. If you get up, they'll come over. If you walk the wrong way around, they'll come over. And it's just like, after that, I didn't want to go to a club again. It was just really taking the life out of music.
This is what we're hearing from a lot of big names in the industry right about now. And the Save Our Scene, the phase transitions, all of these initiations that are being put into, early grassroots phases at the moment are literally saying, look, we're all adults. If you give us all the information, then as adults, we will make a decision based on our own safety. And if you it's almost like the entire civilization is being treated as 5-year-olds and only half of the information and told just to trust this and to trust that. But yet there's still a conversation to have, because there are learned individuals, there are doctors, there are people within science that don't agree with what the mainstream media is stipulating. Now, I'm not saying that the one thing that I can say right now is we're not making any claims. But the one thing that has to be said is if you stop people from socializing and interacting with each other, you are going to set a ticking time bomb in place that in further on down the road is going to have a massive detriment on social interactions. So with these things being said, there are a lot of big names in the industry right now that are saying, look, if you are going to make nights like this, if you're going to make club evenings like that, then this is what the outcome of this is going to be. John, can you give us maybe your outlook of what you maybe think a reasonable solution moving forward is? Maybe not tomorrow, but moving forward, what would you think would be, a reasonable solution for something like this?
So I think it's absolutely unreasonable to say no clubs can open, because this is like an industry that we've built up for the past God knows how many years. There's everyone from the people who work at the venues, the people at the bar, lighting, sound, DJs, artists. There's so many people that rely on this industry, and it's just unreasonable to say, look, it's over. I mean, I read an article about a club in Italy the other day, and they have like this quick coronavirus test. So literally you go in and within 2 minutes, they'll say if you're positive or negative, and they let 3,000 people through the doors. Like that could be a move, but it's tough to say, how we can do it in this country the way, that people's mindset are now with the way the media is and, the kind of divide we have. It's a tough one to call, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying on that one, because it's almost like it's a game of two halves, right? You can please some of the people some of the time, but we're not going to be able to please all of the people all of the time. But I do get what you're saying with that. There needs to be some kind of caveat so that the end result is people can go and socialize. Because like you said, in other countries, they've done A, B, and C, but the equals is people have been able to go into a club and enjoy themselves. In some kind of situation that feels familiar to us all, instead of being penned in like cattle.
There's no difference between going on a tube, right, than going into a club. Like, obviously, they've got the tube open because they want the economy, but we have an economy. Like, we'll keep things going. So it's a bit like of a harsh pill to swallow when you see these videos of hundreds of people in a carriage, but we can't have 100 people in a spaced out club. Even if they said that, right, there's limited tickets, but we're open. That's what I think. If anything, like, let a limited number in, but let the clubs be open.
I completely agree with you on that one.
We're seeing a lot of biased things that suit the people that are enforcing it, really. Like, we're seeing certain places that are open that have got loads of people in the queue, loads of people crammed in together. We're seeing, like you said, on the tube, it's basically normal on the tube for a period of time. So what really is the difference? So we're seeing all these rules in place for certain, biased against certain things, which seem to be things for us having fun at the moment, which I can see. So really, I would say it's I don't know. It just seems like anything that's sort of enjoyable. They've got rules, regulations to that. We're seeing pubs in Scotland not allowed to sell drink. That's like playing football with no ball, isn't it? That's like turning up to play golf, but you forgot your clubs. You know what I mean? It's not really doing anyone any sort of favours for the business or the people attending.
I think the general thing that's come through, even with this conversation, is that people genuinely know things aren't all as they seem. I think it was an absolute breath of fresh air when I heard you saying, don't really watch the mainstream news, not really into all of that. I'm not sure I've found someone in the last 6 months that tells me that they do. I think people now are really of the sense of, where did you hear that? And when someone goes, I heard it on BBC News, everyone goes, oh, right, did you? Right. It almost seems like the news agencies are the new conspiracy theorists, because it's like if someone hears something on the news, the first thing people are saying is, I'm going to question that because I'm not really sure about the news anymore.
Because it's very dramatic and sort of fear-based.
I mean, it's just bad news. It's just bad news. I mean, why don't you just tell us good news before bed, instead of all this shit that just gets plowed into your head. You go to bed and you're worried about your future. You're worried about your security. Why not go to bed and tell us some nice stuff? like this is what the positive outlook, this is what's going to happen. But no, it's like fear mongering in my eyes. It's just fear mongering.
I completely agree.
Which again is bad for your mental state.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've never watched the news, like, you know, I've always kind of realized that from a younger age. And literally, like I said, just when Boris was doing those talks, I was like, I watch the news, and then I just realized it's like every day was a contradiction from the day before. And that's when I started to think, hold on, what's going on here? Like, you know, it's literally every day it just feels like they don't know what they're doing. But I'm not trying to say I do, and obviously it's a big task to, you know, implement what's going on, but I don't know, man, I lost confidence in it.
I think a lot of people are going to resonate with that, John, massively. So to wrap up, can you give us a little bit of an insight as to what Leftwing is going to be up to over the next few weeks? What projects have you got lined up, and where can people find you to tune into the things that you're up to?
So for me, I've actually got my spark into making music again. So for the past kind of 2 months, I've been kind of concentrating on that. So I'm working on our next single, which is kind of in the pipeline now. We're going to have a couple of out. I also launched a new masterclass, which has been really great for kind of budding producers, how to really find out the answers to questions that no one's telling them in production, you know. So there's a course that I've launched on mix and mastering. So it's kind of a bit of music and a bit of teaching. Obviously there's no shows at the moment. Every show we've had booked in has been cancelled, but you know, hopefully they're going to lift some restrictions soon, and you'll see kind of, you know, our act out playing again, which would be good.
Yeah, very much so.
Have you seen the footage of the I think it's Jess Bays doing the protest on the bikes for the music industry? Is that something that you'd like to look at?
Save our scene in London. It is epic. We have stopped lots of traffic, we've made loads of noise, peacefully of course. Joshie Parkinson is on the decks back there, and it is epic. Woo! Save our scene! At night, woo! Seems I can't save our seat, mate. We are coming up to Parliament Square now, which is where we're going to finish. Oh yeah. Started at Hyde Park Corner, come all the way through Oxford Street. And the police are actually walking past, driving past Vivid. I'm going to be doing a GoPro little vlog thing after, so you guys can see everything behind the scenes of what went into today. But so proud, save our scene, epic. No police. Oh, I've nearly fallen off this bike about 7 times. I've dropped my GoPro, I've dropped my phone, but we move. We move. Hello, babes, how are you? You good? Yeah, good thing on it. Let's go again. Oh. Best bit about this is that a shit ton of people are on Boris bikes and Boris hates us. Oh, the irony. We are coming up. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh dear. We're not want to say things like that. It's a peaceful protest, so apologies for everybody that just shouted. Live.
How am I doing this live?
Epic! We're nearly finished now. Are we at Parliament now? I don't know where I am. Oh yes, Parliament. I bet we still don't even make it on the news. Oh yeah, Parliament Square now. That's where we're going to finish. Woo! Try and get more to the front. Oh dear. A lot of spinning and winding here. Parliament Square now. What's your name? Huh? One sec. Right, I'm going to finish live.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, you know, I spoke to Jimmy a few times. I came to the Brighton March and I've been meaning to come to the London ones. Unfortunately, both times my daughter was ill and I had a lot of friends at the last London March. But I think it's great. You know, I know of Jess Bays and it's really good that we're all coming together to try to bring awareness. I know this weekend, you know, you had kind of like, I know Majestic was there, Steve Lawler, Waf, Richie Ahmed, which some real big names in the scene. And they're really trying to bring awareness to what's going on in our community. And that's what I really think we kind of need to do. Because you know what it is? I was speaking to one of my friends and, you know, he didn't understand it, but his job is safe. You know, it hasn't affected him. And I was like, wait till it affects you and then see how you're going to feel about your security and your future. Because there's, you know, the music industry is very few and far between. There's not many people that you can actually hear that are being affected, but there's just so many of us that are. So I think it's great to try to bring that awareness. I know there was another one outside Parliament, a silent protest about a month ago. And there was also last week, I know a lot of the guys attended the London March, which is good. Some really big names like Majestic from Kiss, Steve Lawler, WAF, Richie Ahmed. So it's really good to see these big names in the industry, you know, supporting these events and you know, showing where they stand with it, because I think it's really important that we bring awareness to what's going on. Not a lot of people kind of know how it's affecting musicians and the people in the industry. So yeah, I think it's just good to bring awareness. I've been to one of the marches in Brighton, and I'm going to attend one of the next ones with Jim. But yeah, I think we just really need to bring awareness into what's going on and try to get some type of movement to make a change in the scene, you know, because without us, you know, making some noise, essentially nothing's going to happen. You know, clubs are going to remain shut, artists are going to be left with no income, and that's like everyone in the arts industry. So I think it's really important we just come together and you know, try to get some form of like solidity in where we're going to go moving forward.
Well said, my darling. That's
sounds
wonderful
good to me.
To hear. Wonderful to hear. So thank you so much for joining us on the Really Woke Show. It's been ace, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been amazing, and we look forward to joining you at the next one.
Yeah, 100%,
definitely,
man. I'll be there.
Thank you so much for coming on, and hopefully we can see you again soon with a better update.
Yeah. Look, thanks for having me. Anytime, man. I'm happy to talk any bits you guys.
Definitely. You'll have to come back on again, my darling. This will not be the only time. You'll have to come back on again.
Yeah, sweet. I'm game.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, John.
Nice one, guys.
Until the next time, my darling.
Thank you.
Bye.